Hi, I'm Sam here at Rick Jones Pianos with an extremely satisfying piano to play. This is a Boston model GP-156 made in Japan in the year 2000. If you don't know, Boston is the piano designed by Steinway in New York, but manufactured elsewhere in the world at a lower price point and cost than the Steinways that are made originally in New York and Hamburg, Germany, where they have their other factory. There was a growing demand at the end of the 20th century for lesser expensive products from the premium piano companies, and Steinway among them. And Steinway wasn't the only one. Many other companies have chosen to do this. I know Bechstein, Blüthner did. I know there's others. Schimmel did in Germany. And many other well-known manufacturers have multiple tiers of products in their lines, including Kawai and Yamaha. You have the more expensive concert instruments, which are very meticulously crafted, and then you have the lesser expensive home instruments, and then the really small instruments. Just, you got all sorts of levels of quality available to you, and Steinway has taken part in that by releasing the Boston line of pianos in, I believe it was about 1990. And it's proven to be quite popular. This is a model that we get in here relatively frequently. Boston baby grands in particular seem to be quite popular. This is a 5'1" baby grand. 156 is the length of the piano in centimeters, so 5'1", and making it about the same size as the model Steinway S. It does have a different design than the Model S. It's not a duplication of any of, none of these Boston Grands are exact duplications of Steinway's New York designs. They came up with their own new designs for the time period. And notably about the Boston Grands, they have each one of them an especially wide tail that allows the soundboard area to be larger and maybe allows the bass strings to be a little bit longer than you would expect on such a small piano. In any case, it's a consistent tonal quality of Boston pianos that they have an especially deep sound. In my opinion, that Steinway trying to replicate the same sort of big sound that their own original pianos, Model S, M, O, A, B, D, those pianos are all known for having an especially big tonal projection, which has been one thing that really distinguished Steinway since the late 1800s, and this Boston is an example of how they landed on a new design more recently that achieves largely the same thing, really big, deep sound in this piano. And I think it's an especially good example of this kind. I really enjoyed playing it, even though the touch is a little bit firmer than I'm used to. It is, however, in my opinion, quite normal for Steinways and Steinway products made in the past several decades to have more of a firm, resistant touch. And in any case, Kawai Grands, in my opinion, tend to be a little bit firm anyway. So consistent with both Kawai and Steinway. I'll rate the tone on this piano a 4 on a scale from 1 to 10, from mellow to bright. It has the signature warm, creamy, sort of a gentler sound that you would expect. I noticed it's very even in this piano. Very, well, Steinways are known for having a very even tone across the keyboard with a nice, even progression of tonal quality. There's no breaks in the sound between the different areas of the keyboard, even though the way the cast iron plate has to be designed, it's in multiple sections. In this case, it's in 4 sections. Well, I mean, 4 sections of string. It's one cast iron plate. It's all a single piece, but they have to divide it with struts in the middle to brace the tension of the strings, and that's oftentimes a difficult design point for many manufacturers. They struggle to make the strings on either side of those plate struts sound very good, and on a lesser designed, of a piano of lesser quality, of a lesser design, you can tell, especially between the lower and the higher notes, where that break in tone is. Here it's seamless. The note is, it's there. If this were a different piano, you could much more easily hear that. There's something I point out on Steinway Model S's when we get them in. They really smooth that out. I think they also nailed it with this Boston too. It's a really nice sounding piano. 4 for the tone, as I mentioned, and definitely it would be fair for me to rate the Touch a 6 on a scale from 1 to 10. Distinctly firm on this piano. Very consistent, in my opinion, with Steinways, Bostons, and Kawai pianos made these days. But I mentioned I perhaps a bit unusually enjoyed it because I am used to a lighter touch at home. I grew up on a light touch piano, and my current piano is quite light. But there's definitely something to be argued for in a piano with a more firm touch, especially if you're a really advancing student who might have to be prepared to play a piano in recital or just in your teacher's studio that has a firm touch. And many schools are equipped only with Steinway pianos and Steinway products, which includes many Boston pianos. So if that's your situation and you go to a music school that has an all Steinway fleet, including Boston's, I think you'll be very well prepared practicing on this piano so that you won't have any rude surprises when you go to your piano lesson at a time of otherwise potentially anxiety and nerves, and you don't want the piano to be too unfamiliar. So 4 and 6 for the tone and touch on this piano. Very satisfying to play. Very responsive and smooth. My colleagues do a beautiful job regulating this piano and getting everything activated, and just all the little tiny components. I don't know, 100 well, there's a lot of parts per note in each key times 88. That's all the adjustments we have to make in order to make the piano play evenly and as it is designed to from the factory, and that's why teachers recommend us. They know that we put the work into our pianos, that we put them to show on the floor to make them play at their best. And if as Rick Jones likes to say, if the piano lessons don't work out, you can't blame the piano. So, really nice piano, this one. Of course, this piano has a 10-year warranty, all parts and labor, and 100% lifetime trade-up guarantee. Please make sure you have it in tune twice a year by a professional piano technician, and that you keep it away from extremes of humidity. That's crucial for keeping any piano, no matter the brand's name, in good condition in the long term, especially the wooden components. The changes in humidity will cause the soundboard to expand and contract as its moisture content changes, and the most that you can to stabilize that, the better the piano will stay in tune. And it's what we ask people to do anyway when you have one of our pianos if you want to trade it in. And if you wish to trade in, you can trade this piano in for precisely its instrument sales price, or any other piano if you should choose a different piano, and upgrade to another piano in our inventory that's more expensive. There's no price restriction or brand restriction other than it has to be more expensive. It could be as little as $1 more. Although usually people trading up from one of these pianos would be in the market for a substantially larger piano from Boston, Kawai, Yamaha in our inventory, like a 6-foot, something that has an appreciable difference in sound. Or if you're still restricted on space in the future, a Steinway Baby Grand will be a logical upgrade, in my opinion, from this. And oftentimes we will get people who have bought Boston Grands from us in the past, and they make the upgrade to a Steinway Grand. So just as Boston Grands were originally intended, I believe, and well, they're still doing their duty of helping people on their way to practice and become better pianists. So, oh, and then the piano does have its original matching bench. I almost forgot to mention this. The finish on this piano is a satin ebony, really gorgeous. Evidently the piano was not heavily abused by its previous owner, more likely sat unused largely. Obviously it didn't come from an institution, the finish would not look this good if it did come from an institution, and of course my colleagues do a really good job re-rubbing the satin finish. Oftentimes people who have a house full of wood furniture will find the high gloss finishes to be more disagreeable and more of a clash with their existing decor. This satin ebony finish is definitely a better match, and I oftentimes recommend this piano finish for those who have a house full of wood furniture. And I'll add that this piano does have its original matching duet bench. Opens up the store sheet music. Again, duet bench in very good condition. The piano has not been used very much by its previous owner. So, wonderful piano. Please stop by if you can to try it for yourself. You can play it or anything else in our inventory. But if you can't make it, you can give us a phone call or send us an email if you have any questions.